Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shadows. This is my story. I'm Suaw, the guy from nothing who lost everything when my girlfriend humiliated me and left for a rich heir. Revenge was supposed to be simple. Seduce her new boyfriend, Cheng, break his heart, and walk away. But Cheng, he turned my plan into a nightmare of obsession. I became the one chained. Part 1. The Bitter Spark. It started with rage. My ex laughed in my face, calling me worthless while hanging on Cheng's arm, the arrogant, untouchable alpha heir who owned half the city. His scent hit me even then. Dark smoked cedar and spice, heavy enough to make my blockers feel useless. Tall, sharp-featured, always in expensive suits that scream power. I hated him on sight. I became the persistent fan in his world, showing up at events, flirting shamelessly despite never having looked at a man that way before. Every smirk I gave him was a knife. Every time our eyes met, the air thickened with tension. He saw through the game eventually. One night, after I accidentally caused a scene at his club, he dragged me into a private room. His hand pinned my wrist to the wall, body crowding mine. "You think you can play me, little Omega?" His voice was low, dangerous. His scent wrapped around me like smoke, stirring unwanted heat low in my belly. I sneered, heart pounding. "You deserve to feel what it's like to be used and discarded." His laugh was dark. Fingers tightened. "Careful what you wish for. I don't let go of what I want." The hate between us crackled, mixed with something electric and terrifying. Part 2. The first heat, shattered revenge. My suppressants failed during a forced late-night meeting he arranged to discuss my persistence. The heat crashed over me like wildfire, skin burning, body aching with deep emptiness, slick warmth betraying every wall I'd built. I tried to hide in his office bathroom, trembling. Cheng found me, his nostrils flared, eyes turning feral black. "All this seduction, and now your body screams for me?" I pushed weakly. "Stay away. This isn't part of the plan." But my voice broke as another wave hit, knees buckling. He pulled me against his chest instead. The kiss was fierce, hungry, claiming, like he'd been waiting to devour me. I fought it at first, then kissed back with all my buried anger and need. He carried me to the couch, laying me down under his weight. His hands were possessive, tracing every curve with firm pressure, gripping my hips hard enough to bruise as he moved against me in deep, rolling rhythms. The tension built unbearably, his hardness pressing, teasing that spot inside that made me gasp and arch desperately. His scent overwhelmed mine, mixing into something addictive and dangerous. When the knot swelled, locking us in intense closeness, waves of overwhelming pleasure crashed through me. I clung to him, moaning his name like both curse and salvation while he whispered dark, obsessive words against my neck. How he'd ruined my little revenge, how no one else would ever have me. Hours later, when the lock eased, he pulled back with cold eyes. "This was nothing. You're still just a toy in your own game." But his touch lingered too long, possessive even in dismissal. I left shaking, revenge cracking, obsession already taking root. Thank you for listening to Storytime by Neuratalis. Part 3. Descent into Dark Obsession. After that, everything spiraled. I tried pushing my plan forward, but Cheng became my shadow. He'd corner me in elevators, private cars, empty hallways, pinning me with his body, hands roaming with barely controlled hunger, lips and teeth grazing my scent gland while he reminded me how my body responded only to him. "You started this fire, so now burn with me." Jealousy turned him crazy. Any glance from another alpha, and he'd drag me away, grip bruising, voice rough with possession. "You're mine to break. No one else touches what I've claimed." Our fights were vicious, words like knives, but they always ended tangled together, tension exploding into heated, desperate connection. My next heat hit while I hid in a remote hotel, trying to regain control. The fever was agonizing, hours of burning emptiness, body writhing on soaked sheets, mind fracturing with need and self-loathing. Waves crashed endlessly, leaving me sobbing and delirious. Cheng found me. He always did. He'd been tracking me obsessively, his possessiveness knowing no bounds. He burst in, eyes wild with rage and something deeper, fear of losing me. No words at first. He gathered my fevered body close, his scent soothing the worst of the pain even as hunger flared. That heat stretched for what felt like eternity. His touch explored every inch with commanding reverence, hands and mouth building unbearable tension, drawing out gasps and shudders for hours. He moved deep and deliberate, hitting every sensitive place until I was lost, clinging to him like my only anchor in the storm. The knot swelled thick, locking us face to face, eyes locked in the dim light. He ground slowly, possessively, whispering crazed truths. How he'd destroy anyone who hurt me, how my revenge had bound him to me forever, how he couldn't breathe without my scent. His teeth teased my neck again and again, hovering on the edge of a permanent claim. Pleasure blurred with darkness until I shattered repeatedly, exhausted and bonded in ways I couldn't escape. Part 4. The Breaking Point, Twisted Revelations. The truth came out during my final confrontation. Documents ready to ruin his empire, voice shaking with years of pain and confusion. This was always for revenge. Cheng didn't explode. He pulled me close instead, eyes haunted. I knew. I've known for months. My family wronged yours, but I protected what was left of you while you plotted. I fell first, obsessively, possessively, madly. You became my everything. The revelation broke me. Another heat triggered by the emotional chaos. This one was the longest and darkest. Delirium took hold on his bed as fever consumed me. Cheng stayed through every brutal wave, holding me, his touch both tender and commanding. He built the pleasure slowly, devastatingly, deep movements that drew out every tremor and moan for hours, not locking us as he finally sank his teeth into my neck in a true claiming bite. Ecstasy and pain exploded through the new bond. I felt his obsession flood me. Sleepless nights watching over me, sabotaging threats while I schemed against him, the crazy love that made him risk everything. Part 5. New Chains, Eternal Obsession. There was no clean happily ever after. The empire cracked under the weight of truths and betrayals, but Cheng rebuilt it with me unwillingly at his side, bound by the mark and our twisted love. Our days stayed dark and fiery, arguments sparking into possessive nights filled with intense tension, his body reminding mine who I belonged to. I still challenged him, fueling the obsession that made us both feel alive. On a stormy night on his penthouse balcony, rain pouring as his arms locked around me like unbreakable chains, the mating mark throbbed warmly on my neck. "You're insane," I whispered, leaning back in his chest despite everything. "Only crazy for you," he growled, lips pressing to the claim, voice rough with that possessive love. "I'd burn the world again to keep you chained to me." I smiled into the darkness. Revenge had failed, but this dark, obsessive bond, it felt like the only truth left. Thank you for listening to Storytime by Neurotallies. Follow, subscribe, and share. I love you all.